See how you do today.
Well, now you've put me under pressure.
That's a threat. I feel threatened.
Yeah,
His entire job's under pressure, mate, at all times.
Wow. Okay.
Hostile work environments.
Always with Tom.
It's fair.
Hello and welcome to the Unlucky Frog Gaming Podcast. You are joined by I keep saying it.
And
the
he's
two hosts. Yes. Shut up! You put me off my game. Right. Tom Mannering's here.
Hello.
Being himself. You've got me, Josh Hartley. We've got Ryan Trotter on this week as well.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan. How are you doing? I don't care how Tom's doing. I want to hear how you're doing.
Oh, that's nice to hear. I'm doing all right. Thank you, Josh. How about yourself?
Good. Yeah, I'm grand. So listeners may have heard Ryan previously. If you've gone back to Tabletop Scotland 2019, you were involved in the panel that Tom was running on GMing.
I was indeed. Yep.
But you'll may be familiar with his name because he is in the Star Wars campaign that we talk about from time to time that Tom runs, and you're in a bunch of other games that Tom runs. To be fair, as well.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 games that you're running at the moment, Tom.
You were in Call of Cthulhu as well with me.
Yes,
when we
I
were
am.
doing that.
Yeah, my poor investigator who kept blowing himself up inadvertently or setting himself on fire. Through means of trying to defeat the Eldritch Horrors. Yeah, that was him.
I mean, this sounds pretty drastic, but that's actually kind of par for the course for Call of Cthulhu. That's tame, actually.
Like, how do we deal with this slimy thing? I don't know. Fire.
Fire.
All right, that works.
That's like a quiet Wednesday in Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah.
This is your third call for arson. Yeah, it's Tuesday.
You guys have had a lot of like suspicion for arson and actual arson actually in that campaign, and it's only had like 6 sessions as well.
When 40% of your sessions are comprised of we burn everything to the ground, I think our investigators aren't in the right line of work.
No, probably not.
It just reminds me, slight tangent here. There's an old YouTube video, I don't know if you guys have ever seen it, called Arson Sam.
Is that like the anti-hero Fireman Sam?
Well, someone realised that if you play an episode of Fireman Sam backwards, it's about a guy throwing people into buildings and setting them on fire. So that's what this guy has done. I don't even know if it's on YouTube anymore. It was this. I'm talking from like 15 years ago.
I mean, you could do that with like anything. You know, if you play like an episode of ER backwards, you basically got the equivalent of like an episode of Saw. You know?
Wow! God, that is grim.
Just somebody inserting like shrapnel into a patient and sectioning him up. Yeah.
Jesus.
It's pretty much the same.
CSI is all about planting evidence.
That's fair, yeah.
That'd be more accurate. Hey!
Oh, hot take.
I'm not associated with these two gentlemen.
Yeah. Tom, I did want to hear how you're doing. How are you doing?
I'm good, but not for lack of trying. So I want to derail us, as I want to do, and I want to talk about me. Right?
We're 3 minutes 30 seconds in. I think that's a record.
Yeah. Yep. Right. So I was at the hospital today. Nothing serious. Right. I'm taking part in a study. So because I have psoriatic arthritis, there's a lot of Glasgow's based on research in arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and psoriatic arthritis. They said to me, do you want to be in this study about pain? And I was like, sure, I've done these studies before, I'm happy to do it. Like, cool, we're going to send you over to one of the hospitals.
Can I stop you there for a second?
Yes.
The moment someone says, do you want to take part in this study about pain? I'm just like, nope. No.
And this is one of the few times, Josh, I will say you are a wiser man than me. Right? so let's do it, right? So I take a day off work, right? So I take holiday time.
You book a holiday for this, right?
Yep, right.
I mean,
so I go in.
Pay for this, I guess.
I didn't get paid for it. It's entirely voluntary. So I go in, and don't get me wrong, nurses are lovely, great facilities, all positive, right? But it is hellish, right? It is a day of fundamentally softcore torture. They put my thumb in like a vicey thing that like crushes your nail to like measure your reaction to pain. They put like the stuff you get your blood pressure taken, where they put like the pump on your arm. So they put that on your leg, and if you ever wondered what that feels like when it goes past the point of being tight, I'm happy to tell you it's not good.
Yeah.
So I had that done. They take a wee pen that's got kind of like a needle edge to it, but it's like blunted. And they basically like poke your hand with it like lots and lots of times. And like the first couple, you're like, whatever, that's fine. But it starts to get less fun. And then they put me in an MRI machine for 50 minutes. Now, I've never been in an MRI machine at all. So for those of you who don't know, an MRI machine is the big donut that you basically get on you get on like the bed, and it puts you inside it. Yes. And then I have 50 minutes of being in this enclosed space with like headphones, a mask, like the whole thing, whilst my leg is being compressed.
See,
to test my reaction to pain.
I went into an MRI machine when I was in hospital beginning of lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was maybe like 10 minutes in and out. I can't imagine being in there for 50. Like I had the whole like like the equivalent of barium meal they have these days.
Yeah.
To check my system, and I don't imagine like 50 minutes in there with not only just a miniature torture device around your calf.
Yep. So that has been my day. My day has been like a Happy Meal version of a Saw film. Like it has been unpleasant, but on the flip side of it, it's actually been quite a fun day, because taking that away from it, it was really interesting. Like they kind of talked me through, lots of stuff like how your brain reacts to pain, and like I'm really interested in like how the human body works, like not on an academic level, just on kind of a lay person perspective.
Yeah. Sure.
And like I'm fascinated about seeing like my own bones and not like out of the skin, but like when they're being scanned by ultrasound and stuff.
Yeah. Clarifying.
The other part's the actual Saw movie.
Yeah. So like I get to see like all my joints like under ultrasound, and obviously I'll get to see the outcome of my MRI scans as well on my brain. So really, really interesting. But it's been a day, right? And like I got home and I was like, let's not do that again. Like that was fine. I'm glad I contributed.
I imagine they get not many repeat offenders in that course. To be honest with you, Tom, given the day that you've mentioned.
It's fair. But what I did find quite funny, one of the nurses said to me, "You're quite consistent." And I was like, Is that a compliment? And she was like, "It's just that, when you give an answer and then we give you like the random test, you give the same answer." And I'm like, are people making up answers? Like how painful is that on a scale of 1 to 10? 5. Now how painful is it? Let's call it an 8. Like it's gonna be the same, right? There's gonna be like maybe a bit of variance, but apparently they get a lot of people that they think are like trying to act sort of tough or play it up or whatever. I don't know what the mindset is behind it, but they're getting this really intense pain and they're like 2. No.
I don't know what the point is for a medical study where you go in and try and act like you're not being affected by anything. Like, sir, we're here so that we can look at how you're reacting.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
There's actually a lot of, in these medical studies, there's a lot of like unconscious bias where people try to give answers that they think the researchers want. Like they feel this subconscious pressure to give the answer, not the answer that's true to them. It's the answer they think that person wants. And what's worse is if you know about that and you try to not do it, then you're kind of consciously trying not to give an unconscious bias. You're kind of stuck in a vicious circle because you're either doing it without really realizing it, or you're intentionally trying to avoid it, which is just as bad, really. So yeah, that's my my little bit of unrelated news for the week.
Yeah, my day was fine.
Yeah, I think comparatively, yes.
Yeah, it feels like it was a lot better now all of a sudden, actually. So
I'm going to appreciate tomorrow a lot more. Just sitting at my desk and working is going to be nice.
Yeah, I predict a half an hour into your shift, someone will annoy you, and then it'll be all out the window.
Yeah, it's just
Am I wrong?
I wish I was back in that MRI.
Yeah.
A panning shot of Tom at the desk, like butterflies in a flower field behind him, and then just like a message pings up, and it just hellfire erupts around him. Like, no.
I thought you were going to say like a kind of panning shot, pastel. A pastel field, and there's like a big MRI scan machine in the middle of it, and me there,
and you're
butterflies
running
going past. Like, I will remember you.
10 minutes in, Tom is singing.
There we go. Let's get that off your bingo cards.
Yeah, there we go. Shall we talk about some tabletop gaming stuff?
Yeah,
sure. Why not?
It'd be remiss of me not to mention the D&D session that I had recently, where we had the most disastrous optional encounter of all time.
All right, let's hear it.
We've recently been tasked with rescuing a dragon from the clutches of this ice demon. Ice devil. Important distinction in D&D.
Yep.
We did this because Simon's character was able to beat him in dragon chess. So per the contract that he created, he let him go. And we're making our merry way back. The ice dragon's flown ahead. The silver dragon has flown ahead of us and is going to meet us at yay point in the future. And then, as we're walking past, it's a swampy environment. The land shifts a bit and there's a sinkhole, revealing a green door.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was against going to the green door. And Simon was as well. But the rest of the party really wanted to see what was through that damn door.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we go through, and we encounter a corridor that must have the most traps in a single, per square meter that I've ever seen.
You haven't run Tomb of Annihilation, have you, Josh?
No, I have never played Tomb of Annihilation on that note, to be fair. So, the wizard has a bright idea. He can summon a water elemental to trigger all of these traps. So he summons said water elemental to trigger the traps. However, one trap is an explosion, which catches the wizard, which breaks his concentration, which means the water elemental then turns on us.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So we have to fight a water elemental that we didn't need to fight.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that happens. We slog through the traps. We get to this end room where there is like a summoning circle in chalk. Someone walks through the chalk, summons like 4, I think it was Minotaur skeletons into the room, which we have to fight through. And then that's it. There's no treasure. There's no loot. It was just a pain.
So what's... and I don't know if you know this or not, Josh, because I know you're not necessarily the best at learning these things. But what's the lore of this particular mini dungeon?
This little mini dungeon. It is the lore surrounding one of the forgotten elven gods.
Right.
It was a shrine to this particular god, and apparently, if we had done the encounter correctly, it summons and I think it was an elf who worships this god, but she has gone mad. And you can interact with her basically. But and I'm pretty sure Dave, who runs the game, mentioned there's no reward for it. There's no treasure or anything. It's just a random encounter.
Is this not Descent into Avernus that you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm not again. Here's the thing with Avernus, though. There are bits of it plucked from the Forgotten Realms and planted into Avernus.
That makes. Mm-hmm. I was trying to contextualize it, but that makes it make a lot more sense because it is a bit more random.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, we made it out of there alive, but it was because it was just. I found it really funny because, as far as I was concerned, we'd we'd completed the quest. We'd got the thing that we'd set out to do.
Yeah.
But then most of the session was dealing with this crap.
It's like that in anime when you have the, like, here's the conclusion to the actual story. Oh, we have to fill in for a week. Or like it used to be in the early 2000s, you had to fill in for a week. So the guys are going to make some noodles, I guess, or going on a great tea race.
Yeah, there we go.
It's the classic end of Final Fantasy IX, right? Where you beat the big bad, and you're like, that's it, game over. The big bad's beaten. I've beat Kuja, the guy who has been built up across this entire game. And then the game goes, here's this dude called Necron. He's not explained at all unless you've played the Japanese version of the game.
Oh boy!
And
wow! Oh man!
Good luck.
Uh,
It's just a completely random encounter, and a nasty one at that, and that's essentially what you seem to have had, Josh.
Wow.
But, right, on the flip side of it, you've got a good story from it. So
exactly, and I was laughing so hard throughout the whole thing because my character is like, no, I'm done for the day. Like,
You just go and take a nap.
He at one point did take a bit of a strop and just hid around the corner while the rest of them were working through this corridor, setting off traps. So
one of my favourite mini dungeons I ever ran was from 3rd edition D&D, and it was called Start at the End. And basically, it starts in media res, so the party are already at the end of the dungeon, and they fight a monster. So basically, the way it's described is you've gone into this dungeon and it's kind of a spiral that curves in on itself. And it looks like it's already been looted as you go in. There's like bodies on the floor, there's skeletons, there's traps that have been set off and all this lot. And then they start in media res, or at least I started them in media res, fighting the monster in the middle. And then at the back of the room, there's like a massive treasure chest. And you go over to like the treasure chest and you open the treasure chest and it's completely empty. And as you open it, it resets every single trap.
Nice.
All the way back. And you hear it. Like you hear
the
click,
audible
click, 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 click. All the enemies are reanimated and you have to fight your way out for nothing. Like you got no...
Love it. Love it.
It's such a douchey thing to do, but it is a nice little twist on the contemporary story.
Anyway, Warhammer Plus launched like this week. I haven't subscribed to it. Tom, I know you were planning on doing so, did you?
I am planning on. I haven't done it yet, but I will be subscribing to it. I'm not going to subscribe until I've actually got time to sit down and engage with it.
Actually enjoy it. Yeah, that makes sense.
For the layman, hi, I'm the layman. What is Warhammer Plus?
Well,
go on, Josh.
Thank you for asking, Ryan. I nearly said thank you for Ryan asking.
I can fix that in post.
Yeah, we say that, and I always leave it in. So yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's basically a new subscription service from Games Workshop, and encompasses a vast array of services. In particular, you get a free exclusive miniature. You get access to an app that allows you to watch some animations set in the various universes that Games Workshop cover. You get full access to their Warhammer 40k and their Age of Sigmar app. You get exclusive shows from Warhammer TV, such as battle reports, painting tutorials, and the like. You get access to the Warhammer Vault, which are a series of old publications and articles from the likes of White Dwarf and Citadel Journal and the like. And when they're back on, you'll have access to VIP tickets to Warhammer events.
Oh,
that is what you get.
Okay.
I did not memorize that. I am reading that off a webpage. I am not that good at what I do.
I was going to say, I was going to be very impressed.
There we are. So, launched earlier this week. In fact, and I missed it, they had a free preview of one of the animations over the weekend just gone. I think it was All About Commissar Yarrick.
Yeah, it was Old Deadeye, was it? Something like that it was called.
I never got a chance to watch it myself, and I'm assuming it's no longer up on the various free platforms. I think you've got to pay now.
I didn't watch it, but I did see a couple of reviews for it, and they were fairly positive. So
yeah,
apparently it uses a style somewhat reminiscent of late 90s anime, which is
I'm seeing the stills of it now, and it looks very reminiscent of like Afro Samurai, just like really hyper stylized with really deep shadows.
Yeah.
And that's a real shame. I would have really liked to watch that, because like out of the I'm a tertiary Warhammer nerd. I like the lore. I can't paint worth a damn, but I'm really interested in hearing about the lore. And Commissar Yark is probably one of the characters that I hear like thrown out a lot in terms of like people to follow, sort of thing.
I love because Ben was telling me the origin of Commissar Yarrick and Gazskull was they were homebrew characters of, I think it was Jarvis Johnson and one of the other guys from the design team, and this was like their ongoing campaign through like Rogue Trader and Second Edition that they had. So I just love that idea. I think that's so cool that they turned them into like actual canon. So
not just actual canon, but two major characters in the 40k lore, and it's so weird how much those two characters have changed, not just like over the years, but like if you look at the model, the original Commissar Yarrick and the original Gazgul Thraka model, and then you compare them to their contemporary designs, they are night and day.
The modern Gazgul looks amazing. I love that. Now, I don't collect orcs either. I'm like this close to starting orcs though, because they look really fun.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a tale for another time. So yes, it is now available online. So by all means, guys, if you fancy getting in on that, go download the app, subscribe, get your free miniature, and let us know what your thoughts are. Tom, like I say, is going to investigate for us, and we'll report back on its wares.
I will check that out over the next couple of weeks, and I will give my honest, unfortunately, probably incredibly honest opinion on it. No, I'm sure it's going to be quite good. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, cool. You've got another bit of news that you wanted to cover off with us, just following what we've discussed on a previous episode about Avatar.
Yeah, so a couple of weeks ago I mentioned that I'd backed a Kickstarter for Avatar Legends, the role-playing game. I'm not going to really go into it again. If you want to hear more about that, check out our previous episodes, and like and subscribe while you're at it. What I will say is in sort of congratulations to them. So they are 7 days from the end of their Kickstarter, and at the moment they have raised $208,322, so just over £5 million for their Kickstarter, which, from what I have seen, unless I'm mistaken, is the highest a role-playing game or supplement has ever achieved on Kickstarter.
Because I was going to ask, how does it compare to some of the Critical Role stuff? Because I know that the Critical Role
stuff was never on Kickstarter.
Oh, so it was not?
No,
yeah.
So the Critical Role products went through Green Ronin directly, and then through Wizards. So they never went to Kickstarter. So Critical Role have never had a book like this on Kickstarter.
They did have Vox Machina though, which I appreciate is not an
They
RPG,
had the animated series, and I don't believe this has come close to the animated series.
No, it won't.
No, the animated series was 11.3 million.
Yeah, okay. So a hell of a chunk more. But still, for a role-playing game supplement, it is a massive amount. It pipped out, I think the previous top was one of Matt Colville, for anyone who knows kind of the D&D circuit, does a lot of third-party stuff for that, and has written a lot of other material in his career. He's a really good YouTuber as well. If you want to watch some interesting videos about D&D and things, he's a good source to go to. But the Avatar Legends one is fantastic. They got completely blown out of the water for like stretch goals and things. They've been having to kind of make up stretch, which I really like. I get a bit of sort of is it Schadenfreude, where you kind of enjoy someone suffering a little bit, and I kind of like watching creators scrambling under their own success to make up more stretch goals, which is a nice position to be in, right? Like where you've been so successful, you've more than achieved what you're doing. So they have come out with some really interesting stretch goals that they came out with. So things like an app for their game was like one of the later stretch goals, which again has been blown out of the water as well. A couple of extra resources for it. It's in a really, really good place. And I mean, even like at the level I'm supporting, which is just the PDFs, the amount of bonus stuff you're getting now because of how well it's done is cracking. So really well done to them, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out from it now.
I took a look at the sample of the system, and I didn't know really what to expect from it, but it is a lot more of a narrative heavy system, which makes it a lot of sense for the Avatar canon.
Definitely.
And I'm really interested to see how it plays, to be honest. Like, I've not had a chance to do a one shot of it, but the handout actually comes out with a sample story and sample characters. So if you can bother somebody to run it for you, you know, it's easy enough to pick up and try.
Hi, Tom.
Hello. Yeah, no, I had I had a quick look over it myself when it first came out, and it's quite an interesting system. I'll be interested to see how it shakes out when it's got a bit more content for it, but I think it's really good. I like when they do things like this, that they bring out a quick start guide. It's got characters, it's got a bit of content for you to play through. A lot of people are doing it now, and it is a really wise thing to do, especially with a Kickstarter. It's kind of a try before you buy situation, which is really good. What I always think is quite funny, and I know it does happen, so I probably shouldn't really find it funny, but like, imagine this is a small team, and they've just been given $7 million. Like, that's a lot of money to just have dropped in your lap. Like, you've got to be thinking about, like, fleeing to Barbados and just setting up a new life with that amount of money.
We've seen plenty of Kickstarters go awry along those lines, so hopefully these guys will come good on what they've committed to.
I think they will, given what we're seeing. It's a very professional quality that we're already seeing. It looks like they've got a good chunk of it is already ready to go, and it's just about bringing the last of it home, and obviously now bringing the extra stuff in that they've set themselves up for.
Yeah, well, watch this space, guys, and Tom, you did back it, didn't you? So again, you'll report back. A lot call to actions for Tom this week.
Keep myself busy.
Yes, of course. The other big news thing that has happened this week was Wizards of the Coast had the Magic Showcase. So they did this last year. It was an hour-long stream, basically, where they cover off what we can expect over the next few months and years for Magic the Gathering. So I don't know how much have you guys seen of it?
Just whatever appeared on Mythic Spoilers. I haven't had a chance to watch the footage yet.
Cool. So and this is one of the criticisms of the stream. There's not an awful lot of new cards revealed, which for a game that is based on cards is a bit weird. But that's fine. Tom, have you caught up with any of this?
I've seen bits of it previewed on Facebook. Via various links. It's that kind of clickbaity stuff of Magic's doing 40k now, and I'm a sucker for that kind of crap. So I will go and usually read that. I get really reputable resources for my information.
Well, let's talk about their use of IP, because we discussed this last week, or was it week before? And I would put forward the theory that they might be trying to cool off on this Universes Beyond stuff. And I was wrong. I was very wrong. So we'll address the elephant in the room first of all. But I want to just get... Guys, just wish list for me here. Give me an IP that you'd love to see Magic do.
Oh, I think more of the Forgotten Realms stuff, to be honest, because I'm a sucker for the D&D set. I absolutely love that. That was brilliant.
Okay, and Tom?
It's topical given we've just discussed it, but I wouldn't mind seeing Avatar done in Magic.
So what I'm hearing from both of you is you want to see Fortnite. You want to see Fortnite.
I saw this. It's so bad. I sat here last week yelling at people not to yuck people's yums, and then Magic are like, challenge accepted. Here's Fortnite. And I'm like, guys.
Mr. Hartley, please, what are you doing to me?
I am reporting the news. We're gonna get a Fortnite secret lair. So
okay, so I was worried it was going to be an entire set, and my heart fell through my stomach. But we had a Walking Dead secret lair. I didn't buy it. It didn't come into my sphere of reference, so I'm not too fussed about it.
Well, this is the point. This is kind of how I feel about it. And what they have said about this is that they're not mechanically unique cards. These are going to be reprints, basically, but with a Fortnite-themed art on them. So, you know what? If your kids, your Fortnite, and you want to combine that with Magic the Gathering, you go knock yourselves out. But,
can I just interject for a minute? I wish I could credit this to where it came from, but I saw it in passing.
Oh boy.
I saw a comment about this on Facebook that had me properly belly laughing, and it was, I'm sure bringing the Fortnite community into Magic won't make it any more toxic.
Oh, it's funny because I'm sad.
And I was like,
you know what? At least we can agree. It's not League of Legends.
It's not. That is true. It's not Raid Shadow Legends either.
Raid Shadow Legends. I'm surprised that hasn't happened. That's everywhere.
I would not be surprised. Like, this card set sponsored for some reason by Raid Shadow Legends.
It's like when you crack the booster, the advert just pops up and starts playing.
It's like I don't even understand how this is happening.
It's like one of those birthday cards you can't turn off after you open it.
Actually, we should probably talk about this week's sponsor.
Raid Shadow Legends. Damn it! I was going to make that joke. You beat me to the joke, Tom.
It's not. We are not and will never be sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Whoa. Let's never use the never word.
Nope. Nope. I would rather be sponsored by, like, the companies that do, like, the ball shavers than, like, Raid Shadow Legends.
You know what?
I'll take that level of sponsorship.
You would say that, but apparently they do good money for Raid. Like that.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. And I'm not entirely judging people that accept the sponsorship, but God, it's everywhere, man. It's the herpes of advertising. Like, you cannot get rid of it.
The funniest that I saw was there's a music YouTube channel that I subscribe to. He basically does like segments on like certain periods of like pop and rock music, right?
Okay.
And like he normally gets relevant ones like Squarespace, like, oh, you want to learn something, go check out Squarespace. Anyway, he starts it off you feeling bored? You want something to occupy your time? Want to expand your horizons and maybe learn something? Try Raid Shadow Legends! Just totally leaned into how absurd it was.
Oh, boy.
So, I respect the man for that, at least.
I have seen a couple of Sorry, we're getting off track here.
Yeah, it's cool.
I have seen a couple of YouTubers, and I actually sit there going, how did they get away with having that as their sponsorship? Because they are this close to completely mocking it, but it's an official sponsor. And I'm like, this is like, if I were that company, I'd be like, you are actively mocking us. We're not sponsoring you if you're going to make a mockery of us.
The problem is, like, well, not the problem. I think the thing is, people respond to the irreverent sponsorship. So, this guy's making fun of it. He says he's put a couple hours into it, and I might as well see what it's like, just so I can make fun of it.
That is fair. Yeah, I suppose in a way their spin on it might actually be good publicity.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
But Raid Shadow Legends is not been confirmed.
Okay.
The other stuff actually sounds quite cool. We're getting a Street Fighter secret lair.
No, no, it does not sound cool. You take that back.
What?
You take that back, Tom. I am here for this. I love the idea of like tap 2 mana, play Chun-Li.
So Chun-Li is the art that they revealed for it, and all they have confirmed is that the card has the multi-kicker mechanic on it.
Of course it does.
I mean, that's clever.
Of course it does.
Yes.
I'll give him that.
Yeah.
So, over and above those things, we got to see some art that is being used in the 40k Commander deck supplements that are coming out. It's Magnus Calgar and some suppressors. We're basically the two pieces. I'm gonna go out on a limb. I think Magnus Calgar could be one of the commanders that they release for that. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, if it's with the recent commander decks, it's been 2 like new official commanders at the very least, and then a couple of others that you can like bring up front to bolster the rank.
Is it? Sorry, Ryan. Is it new art that they're using for this, or is it existing? Okay,
I believe so. The reason I'm pretty confident it's new art is the colour palette is more in line with Magic the Gathering art than it is with 40k art.
Okay. Yeah,
it's obviously like the 40k designs, and notably it has guns in, which is something that's going to be new for Magic the Gathering art.
Well, we say that. There was Urza's power armor.
That's true, yeah.
Which is literally Space Marine armor. Like,
yeah. True.
Maybe Urza's secretly the Emperor.
Urza being the Corpse Emperor.
Don't start on this. Start on this.
Is Urza really alive because the orcs believe he is?
Yeah.
That's the question.
They've got his talking head somewhere, basically. But yeah, so I thought the art looks pretty cool though, and they also revealed artwork of Gandalf the Grey for for Adventures in Middle-earth is the official title of that supplement. That isn't coming until 2023, so we're going to have to wait a while for that one. Okay. But that is going to be a draft set. It's going to be commander decks, and notably the cards are going to be modern legal for those who care about competitive play.
What did you think of the art for Gandalf, Josh?
Again, I quite like it. It's like it looks to me like a Magic the Gathering spin on who Gandalf the Grey is. So I think that's quite neat. I've seen a few people online saying it doesn't quite look right, but then we're so used to like Peter Jackson and you know by extension it's I forget the 2 artists' names now, but the 2 lead the 2 very popular artists. This is bugging me because I've got like a Gandalf the Grey print by one of them. That's going to really annoy me. I need to stop everything. I need to look this up.
Stop the episode. Okay. Josh wants to look smart.
All right.
No, I'm going to leave most of this in.
Okay.
He does that as well.
So we have it in real time. The furious Googling.
You actually get
the concentration.
You actually get us discussing how we're going to cut this out of the episode, left into the episode. Josh is very much in the everything is content school of thought.
Oh, absolutely. I would be, if I was in charge of Raid Shadow Legends PR, I'd be like, you mock the hell out of us. It is Alan Lee and John Howe.
Okay.
So I think we're so used to seeing like their interpretation of Tolkien's Middle-earth that seeing, other takes on it is little bit jarring. That's my gut feeling. I don't know. You've obviously seen it, Tom. What do you think?
I'm not a fan. It's
no?
The honest truth. Yeah, I think it's a nice bit of art on its own merits, but I kind of agree. To me, it doesn't look like Gandalf. It looks like a generic wizard. I know in many ways Gandalf is a generic wizard, but he's
not a generic wizard. He is the generic wizard. He's the one that we base all of our generic wizards on.
He's not the progenitor wizard. Like there have been other wizards. Like
Merlin.
I think the problem falls with the fact that we've had Peter Jackson's interpretation of him for 20 years now.
Stop making me feel old.
I refuse. You will turn to dust in my webcam, Josh.
Yeah.
But the fact that we've had that interpretation around for so long, and it is just like at the forefront of like the pop culture imagery of him, I think they've done well. Or like this was Dimitri Bermak, who appears to be Dimitri Bermak, who's doing the artwork for the Gandalf card, has taken it in an interesting direction. I like the look of him. He's got this the sort of like detail in his hat, like is weather worn, it's world weary, but he's still recognizable in the color scheme and the gear he's got. That is Gandalf.
Yeah, like I say, I'm a fan of it. I like the fact that they've sort of done a Magic the Gathering spin on it. Yeah. Basically, I think that's neat, and you know. There's tons of content out there that looks like stuff from the Peter Jackson films, so
I'm happy to agree to disagree.
Okay.
That's fair.
I respect your opinions, despite them being wrong.
Wow.
Well, Josh, we can rest well in the knowledge it is 2-1, so we're good.
Is it though? You know what? Really? I mean, it's the validity of the opinions.
Wow. Okay.
Harsh.
Ryan, he's saying your opinion's not valid.
All right,
That's very. Ryan is our guest, Tom.
It's Ryan whose opinion's invalidated.
It's the same reverence with which you will get your Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship.
Do you know, I'm going to eat those words in like a year when Raid come to us and they're like, oh, we want to sponsor you, we'll give you like X amount of money, and I'm like,
cool. Don't listen to our episodes.
It's a lot of money.
I will be sending this to the contact us at Raid Shadow
Raid
Legends
PR team.
Yep.
Excellent. Moving away from other IPs that they've been talking about, we got a bunch of product stuff as well. A bit of news about organised play. We'll start on that because that was a pretty neat announcement. So, store championships are coming back to local game stores. And they can select what format it is, be it like standard, modern, draft, or whatever, which is great. Okay. Here's the neat thing, right? So they're going to have 3 promos. Everyone gets a promo Arbor Elf, which, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, common like it's not an expensive card, but it's used quite a lot in like Commander and Cubes and the like. The top 8 each get Collected Company.
Oh.
Yeah, so Ryan's been playing around about the same length of time I've been playing as well. So you remember Coco being absurd.
I started in Theros. When cans came around, Collected Company was backbreaking. And I still hate running against in Commander. It's like Collected Company, bring up my entire deck. Oh boy.
Yeah. And the winner will win a foil Wormcoil engine, which is a very nice card. Interestingly, they've updated the creature type so that it is a Phyrexian worm now. So
I run Lorehold artifacts in Commander, and just the concept of getting a fancy, like a pretty looking Wormcoil that won't cost me £100 at the minimum for the all art one is music to my ears.
Well, do you want to hear the really cool thing about this?
All right.
Is that it will have in foil letters on the card the name of the store where the championship was held.
Oh.
Well, which I just think's really neat. You get a chance to have a card completely unique to your gaming store.
Imagine buying that on the secondary card market later on down the line, and then I never knew you went to like the Card Kingdom in America championship. When did you go there? This year, this date, apparently.
Yeah. For that reason, I don't think we'll see a lot of these on the secondary market. I think people will want to keep hold of these for sentimental value.
These? Sorry to interrupt. Do these kinds of cards that have I assume this is like the foil stamping that it'll have on?
Yeah, it's similar to like your pre-release cards.
Yeah. So, do those kinds of cards have an increased, a decreased, or a similar value to their normal?
Similar for pre-release cards because there's a lot of them.
Right.
I think these ones might be different.
because these are going to be unique to the store. But in and of itself, it might have the same rarity hit as, like, because Wormcoil isn't like a chase rare. Like, you can get copies of Wormcoil Engine. It's printed with a lot of Commander decks. And they did the Masterpiece variants if you want to be really fancy. But I think Josh is right. It'll be the same sort of value as a foil Wormcoil Engine, maybe a little bit more because of where the stores are. But
the card to compare it to the card types to compare it to will be the promos they gave out at Grand Prix and World Magic Cup qualifiers and that sort of stuff. And they start off being cheaper than whatever card they're based on, and then get more expensive as time goes on.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So we got that. In terms of new products, I don't play the Pioneer format, but I think this is really neat. They've announced that they're doing Pioneer Challenger decks. So this is a 60 card plus 15 card sideboard deck that you can just buy, and they've already posted the deck lists for them. And from what I'm told by people who actually play that format, is that they're actually pretty good. Like, it doesn't take an awful lot to upgrade them to being like fully optimized, so that's neat.
I like what they're doing with the recent like pre-con decks, because I don't know too much about the D&D one because I've only maybe played against 2 or 3 of them, but the Strixhaven decks were really good, and the Lorehold one only takes a couple of cards out and in to break entirely.
Yes, you can do busted things with that Lorehold deck. So, great to see them doing more content like that. Last year we saw Commander Collection Green. This year we're going to get Commander Collection Black. More of the same, basically. You get Alt Art, Sol Ring, and Command Tower, and a bunch of black staple cards for Commander. I think off the top of my head we had Toxic Deluge, Phyrexian Arena, Reanimate, and a Fearmancer, and a couple of others which I can't quite remember.
Okay, you're missing 2. Who's the Planeswalker that you think of when you think black?
Oh, Liliana. There's a Liliana in there. It's the flip one, isn't it?
Flip Lily, which is interesting because I don't. I'm gonna probably show myself up here, but I don't think the collection green was a flip Nissa.
No. Yeah. No, there wasn't.
So that's interesting at the very least. And there's also Ghoul Collar Gisa, Sol Ring, and Command Tower. All of these with new art.
Oh, is Ghoul Collar Gisa in that?
Yes. Ghoul Collar Gisa is
alt art. So that'll be coming to stores later this year. They talked a lot about the 2 Innistrad sets that are coming out, and in the first quarter of next year, we're also going to get a draft set called Innistrad Double Feature, which is going to combine cards from the 2 and have all arts of them in the style of like creature feature movies and that sort of stuff. So that's a neat little nod to old horror films. Not too excited, but it'll be fine. And I think that the big one is the schedule for 2022 for the main sets. So the 4 set titles are going to be Kamigawa Neon Dynasty.
Oh.
Yeah, this is going to be... We're going back to Kamigawa block, which was the Japanese mythology-inspired block. However, it's set 2,000 years into the future.
Oh, I'm here for this for Cyber Kamigawa?
It's Cyberpunk Ninjas.
I'm here for that.
Basically. So that looks really cool. Next set is called The Streets of New Capenna. This is a city. New Capenna is a city that was formed by angels originally. However, it has now fallen into crime. So this is Art Deco 1920s style mobs led by demons.
Okay.
And the promo art for this is Obnixilis standing over someone who's just been gunned down.
Is it Obnixilis in a fedora?
Obnixilis is wearing a suit.
Oh, God.
Are wizards just like...
Right, hold on. Tom's got his head in his hands. He's wanting to do this while we're recording. This looks so much cooler than it sounds. Or that's all I will say.
I need to see the
I'm
PR
on board
for
with this.
Yeah, I love the idea of wizards just going, right, what settings do these guys want to play? And we'll print this, we'll make the setting, and here you go. Here's the alt art, like the what do they call them, plane shifts to get to those places, because like they did the plane shift from Ravnica, which was pretty good. But this is pretty much more Eberron, but with demons and angels running the show, and I'm here for it.
And can you imagine, like, I'm almost certain that they're going to have, like, alt printings in an Art Deco style as well, which will be really cool.
Josh, please, I can only get so excited about this.
The final 2 standard sets of 2022 are titled Dominaria United. We're back to Dominaria for Magic's 30th anniversary. And the final one is The Brothers' War. So this is the first time we're going... Well, no, not the first time we're going back in time for a sec, but we're basically going back to the war between Urza and Mishra.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that will be really cool as well, diving into one of the iconic stories of Magic the Gathering. I've heard a lot of people compare it to... That's going to be Magic's Horus Heresy, basically. So
do you know
we'll see how that...
this set with Nicholas in the fedora, right? Like
he's not in a fedora.
I know, right? But by way of example,
I said he's wearing a suit.
This reminds me of, and this reference may be wasted on YouTube, but I'm sure other people understand it. Back in the original series of Star Trek, when the budget was running a bit low, they would have like an episode where they'd go back in time, or they'd rock up to like a planet that was like. You know, based on like 1920s Earth or something like that, because they had the sets for things like that, and they had the wardrobes, so the cost to run that episode would be really, really small. So you'd have these episodes where they go back to like Chicago in like the 20s and stuff like that. It's like Magic has run out of money, which it hasn't, right? But has run out of money, and they're like, what sets have we got nearby? Oh, let's just bring in like 1920 Chicago and put our characters in that.
But Tom, I have to counter 1920 Chicago with demons and angels.
It's
that,
cool.
Like you described that to me, and that sounds like a Fate game. That sounds like a D6 system that I would be totally into.
I'm not against it, right? And I
it sounds like you
enjoy. You enjoy.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. It's just like it's a bit out there is all I'm saying. Like I'll withhold judgment. It might be cool.
Right. Tom, have you seen the art that they teased for it? Look it up.
Right,
I don't want
to. Look it up.
I don't want to.
I'm doing it now. I'm doing it.
I don't want to look at LA Noire meets Demon Hunters. I don't need that in my life.
Okay, so it actually looks a lot better, no offense Josh, than what Josh described it. The descriptor is Ob in his attire with like a gold sort of regalia, and you see pinstripes at the side, and then behind him is like the most Art Deco rapture. I was about to mention another city from Final Fantasy 14 that would be a major spoiler to everyone, so I'm not gonna. But Tom, you know what I'm talking about. In the background behind him, and that just looks like it doesn't look like at least the art I'm seeing doesn't look like somebody's being gunned down in front of Dawn of Nixilis.
Okay. All right. Okay. I'm looking at. Okay, that's not as bad as Josh made it sound.
Can we stop saying as Josh made it sound? I gave an honest description of it.
No, that looks quite cool.
Right, if you continue down through the article, there's another image that looks very, Arcanopunk, 1920s, where you have this. It looks like a detective eavesdropping on two people from across the street with a scrying orb.
Do you know what it looks like to me? It looks a bit Bioshocky.
Yes, that is the Art Deco style screaming out from Bioshock, with less Big Daddies, hopefully.
So I will retract what I said. This doesn't look like Demons in Chicago to the extent that I was getting the visual from Josh's description, whether he likes it or not. That to me looks a bit more measured. And it looks like there's a nice fusion of the sort of Magic style and the Art Deco style.
Yeah.
So I will retract my earlier comment. That
the key art for the Brothers War looks pretty cool as well. It's this image
of walking down this massive hangar of giant robots.
So I'm scrolling down the article that Ryan's given me to try and find this picture, and I've got like the art for Dominaria United, and I'm expecting the Brothers War to be below it. And there's a picture of a Blastoise fighting a Charizard, and I'm like, that's a bit of a leap that they've gone for.
That was the Brothers War.
You are my brother, Charizard.
We do have. I want to cover it off real quick because I'm conscious of how long we've spent on this. But other sets that they have announced: Unfinity. We're getting a new unset. This is set in a theme park in space. Go figure.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Ryan, good news. We are going back to the Forgotten Realms. We're getting Dungeons and Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate Commander Legends.
Nice.
In fact, Tom, I can't remember if it was you or if it was someone else I was speaking to who raised the point. There's actually not an awful lot of the characters from the Baldur's Gate games in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms. Wonder where they're going to be.
Yeah.
That's
really positive.
I wonder if they're going to bring. It might be a bit early for this, but like the new characters from Baldur's Gate 3. Just
maybe
Shadow Sun and so on.
Possible.
Yeah.
Possible.
That would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, we are getting Double Masters 2022. Another Masters set, basically. And Jumpstart 2022. I don't know, did any of you guys play Jumpstart?
I did.
It was a great format.
No,
I did. I was able to play... can't remember what it was. I think it was Minions and Zombies, I think, were the two that I played. I managed to smash up two things into a mono black pile of cards.
Nice.
You say that it wasn't great, but this it was a really fun format. I look forward to that, and I also look forward to Double Masters because Double Masters last time was a brilliant draft environment.
I never got a chance to draft it, so I'm looking forward to actually doing that this time.
Yeah.
So much stuff coming out though. My poor wallet.
A wealth of content is never a bad thing, though. Right?
This is true.
It's a good place to be. As much as I have bitched about Kill Team releasing too much in one go, I think it is a nice, especially with Magic, where you can really pick and choose what you want. Because I mean, there's a lot of these sets, and I'm not being negative here. There's a lot of these sets that I won't pick up, not because I don't think they're interesting. It's just they're not to my particular flavour,
that's fair enough.
I'm excited about.
I
think at the moment, the approach I would probably take to Magic, and I would probably recommend other people that maybe have a similar mindset to me in some cases, is probably just go a no holds bar on it for the minute. Like just let them run free. Let's see what comes out, because they seem to be going a little outside the usual zone, shall we say.
Did you not want to say box for some reason?
No.
Okay.
I see.
All right. Ryan, your thoughts?
I am personally looking forward to seeing the inevitable plane shifts guide that they're going to bring to D&D with these the recent sets.
Of course, yeah. Get to play Cyberpunk.
I was just saying, like, this is
Kamigawa.
Yeah, this is just good. Like, well, maybe not the Kamigawa one, but absolutely New Capenia, because we've seen what Eberron can do in terms of the Art Deco style of intrigue. I would like to see what they do with this New Capenia, and I'm looking forward to Dominaria, because like Dominaria Original brought out a lot of interesting commander cards. I'm mostly in to MTG for the commander at the moment.
Same.
But I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they go. But most of the time, I will be picking up for the commander content, but maybe a couple of drafts here and there.
I'm curious if they will give all of these the treatment of a D&D book though, because for that exact reason, some of these do sit a little close to either existing things like Eberron for the Art Deco style. I mean, Innistrad sits very close to Ravenloft. So much that the PDF that they released for Innistrad tells you how to cross it over with Ravenloft because of the similarities. So I'd be interested to see if they do pick them all up for it. Yeah,
at the very least, like they may do like the handout PDFs that they did for the likes of Amonkhet, Kaladesh, and a lot of the earlier sets when they were sort of like dipping their toe in the water.
Yeah, that's a point. I'd quite like to see, this is largely unrelated, but see with those PDFs, I'd love if they did like a book that was, I don't know, like the Worlds of Magic or something, where they put all of those together in a proper published book, you know, maybe refine them a little bit, and did, you know, chapters on each of the not the lesser worlds, but the worlds that don't need maybe a full supplement, the same way that like Strixhaven and
Ravnica needed a full supplement. Yeah, that was humongous.
I think, like, I played in Ravnica, and the content they gave you with the Ravnica sourcebook was amazing. I haven't had a chance to play a Theros game yet. I've built a couple of Theros characters from the Vibe, because that was the set I started in. And yeah, they look like they did it justice, but as I say, I'd be happy with just like a handout PDF.
Anyway, that is a bit of a bumper episode. Editor Josh is going to have he's going to have his work cut out this week.
Well, we had the pleasure of Ryan's company. We've got to give him the appropriate screen time, Josh. It's not always about me and you.
Wow, alright. Turning my faux rage on me. Pro move, sir. I respect that.
I tip the hat.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, thanks for coming on, Ryan. It's been a pleasure. It's nice to have someone refereeing me and Tom.
No, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, sure we'll have you on again at
all
some
too
point.
Civil for my liking, to be honest. Someone having a polite discourse with Josh, it really throws my game off.
Okay, I'll practice like calling Josh out and just random things from next time.
That's the way we do things.
Please don't. Rightio. Anyway, guys, on that note, that is all we've got time for. So until next time, take care.
Bye.
Bye.